God damn. All right, let's wait for some people to trickle in. Oh, someone joined. That's cool. Oh, fuck me. Doing a stretch 'em up. Wish I could see who it is that's watching, but you know, fuck me, I guess. So what's up, everybody? I'm back. I got super violently sick for like a week and a half, so that's why I was being lazy. But I'm back now. Woohoo! It's as the title says, it's the start of Spoopy season, so I'm wearing my Spoopy shirt to celebrate. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Thank you. We everyone in my vicinity got it, and we were all unhappy about it. So I don't know what it was. I don't want to know. I just am glad it's gone. Just glad my grandma didn't get it. Who the hell's texting me? Hang on. Who the hell's interrupting my kung fu? So sorry I'm slightly late. I was watching the end of The Holdovers, which is an amazing movie, so I wasn't going to stop it for you ungrateful degenerates. Second time viewing it. I watched it on streaming a while back and it was amazing. So then when I saw how relatively cheap it was on Amazon, I went on a little spree and that was one of the ones I got. Looks amazing in 4K. It looks amazing in general. Like I forgot that movies are supposed to actually look like fucking movies and not goddamn yogurt commercials and shit. So it was just so refreshing to see something that looked real. That, as I was saying to you earlier, Zach, that if it weren't for Paul Giamatti, I would think it was an actual movie from that era. And of course, Paul Giamatti has like stopped aging somewhere along the way, so you know maybe he was around in 1971. I could believe it. But oh god, it's such a good movie. It's just like I think I'm gonna make it one of my annual Christmas movies, like with Die Hard and Bad Santa and everything. I think I'm gonna throw that on the watch it every year list, especially if I own it on disc. Incredible movie. Speaking of incredible movies I purchased on disc. I also rewatched Taking of Pelham 123, which I've talked about on here before. Excellent movie, man. It's so good. It's really interesting to see such a seminal work in the heist movie genre because it feels like a prototype of Die Hard. Like it feels like if Die Hard and Taxi Driver had like a baby, or I guess since it came before either of them, like if they were half siblings of the same father and that father was taking a Pelham 123. But it's so cynical. I just I love how cynical it is. I love how miserable every member of the cast is. I love that they're all hello. I That's my mom saying hi in the comments. So I'm saying hi to her back. I love how just disgusting the city is in that movie. I love I love that like human beings get taken hostage and one of the characters goes, "Ah, screw the goddamn passengers. What do they expect for their 35 cents to live forever?" Like that's just the prevailing attitude of every character in the movie. Like, fuck you. Get out of my way. Half the hostages seem more like annoyed that they're being kept from their business than they are like afraid for their lives. Um the mayor bears a stunning resemblance to Ed Koch, who was not mayor of New York City yet in 1974, so that's just amusing in hindsight. A line I'd forgotten about last time I watched it and got reminded of this time was, the mayor, he's got the flu, he's homesick, he's lying in bed with like daytime TV on, like fucking Newlywed Game or whatever. And he gets the call and he's like, nah, I feel like shit. I don't want to hear about it. And they're like, hey, a train's been hijacked. You need to come downstairs and talk to us. And so he goes, all right, I'm coming down. He hangs up, he's all shocked, and then he unmutes the TV, realizes that the final prize has been given out on his game show, and he goes, "Ah, fuck, I missed it." Like the fact that that's what he gives a shit about. Awesome movie, just incredible film. What else did I rewatch recently? Because Amazon had like a sale, so I got a bunch of stuff. Um, I got those two. I got Blue Beetle. That was a good one. Which I'll get to that in a minute because I actually have thoughts on it, but I'm trying to remember what the other two things were. The Substance. Watch that for the third time. Yeah, third time. And then what was the last one? Damn it, there was something else. I got Superman as well, but that was earlier. I just got that when it was new because fucking Superman. While I think about it, I'll give you my thoughts on Blue Beetle. So it kind of got like shadow released because it was like one of the last ones they developed for the old DCU, and like everyone knew the reboot was coming, so they just had to like burn off the last couple things they had in development, except for fucking Batgirl, which they just canned, and I'm still mad about 3 years later. Anyway, so Blue Beetle was one of those. It was supposed to be like an HBO Max streaming original, but then they kind of gave it a theatrical release, and everyone forgot about it, and including me. But then I was like, well, it's on sale and it's technically like it's being incorporated into the new DCU, so I should give it a shot. Like, give it another shot, that is. Because I remember thinking it was like okay. So I got it because it was like $10 and I watched it again. I forgot how good it is. I forgot that it's like actually a pretty solid movie, despite the fact that it looks like a streaming original because it had a smaller budget. Like the visuals aren't well, the CGI is fine. When I say the visuals, I mean like the shot composition and the lighting. Like it looks a little cheap compared to other movies because it was, but it's a solid movie. It's super fucking left wing. It has like an Operation Condor flashback. They talk about like the School of the Americas in Latin America and like how it trained these fucking locals to be like killers. Um, they George Lopez's character in particular, who they overdo it on him, but like that's just George Lopez. His mere presence already feels like overdoing it. He doesn't exactly disappear into a movie. So he has a lot of like, oh, the government's tracking us through this. Like he's got his kind of nutcase conspiracy stuff that, of course, turns out to be right because that's how it works in movies. Of course, in real life, he'd be like QAnon, but thankfully, the movie glosses over that part. Susan Sarandon is great as the antagonist. She's just like really unapologetically evil and implicitly racist, which works for the character, like for the setting and everything. Um, the what's his name, Sholo Marn Wena, some name like that. He some name like that. The kid from Cobra Kai, he's the main character. He's great. He did a lot of the fights himself, and he was pretty good at it. The CGI looks better than you'd expect a movie with a relatively low budget to have. I mean, it doesn't look like great, but it looks pretty good. Um, it's a solid movie. Yes, Blue Beetle George Lopez firmly believes Bruce Wayne is on the Epstein list. He literally says in the movie, Batman's a fascist. Like that line made it into the trailer, which is, of course, wrong unless you're terrible at writing Batman, but it's funny as hell because so many terrible Batman writers have written him as a fascist before. Um, but yeah, they like I rewatched it because they seem to be incorporating it into the new universe because they're developing another Blue Beetle project with the same actor. So what they're gonna probably do is the same thing James Gunn has been doing with Peacemaker, which is like, well, the Suicide Squad isn't technically canon. It's just like, broad strokes canon adjacent. Some stuff from it is. It's like, dude, you used footage from it. It's fucking canon. It's fine. Like we forgive you. We'll gloss over any continuity errors that show up because it's a real movie and the rest of the movies in its universe are shit. So we'd prefer them be attached to a different, better universe. So they're probably going to do that with Blue Beetle. Um, but yeah, I just like upon rewatching it, I was like, I'd forgotten that this is pretty good. It's nice to see that the worst the new DC universe has gotten so far is Blue Beetle, which is still pretty good. Because, like, if we think about what the new DC universe so far consists of, it's like the Superman movie, which was a masterpiece, Peacemaker, which is fantastic, Creature Commandos, which was pretty fucking good. Not like as good as the other ones, but still pretty solid. The Suicide Squad, which is great. That's everything that's come out so far. There's more coming, of course. That Lanterns show looks good. The Supergirl movie doesn't look too bad. I mean, we don't really have anything of it except posters, but the posters are good, so it'll probably be fine. Um, so it's comforting to know that we're not gonna get a retread of the fucking Zack Snyder horseshit, like Superman saying no one stays good in this world, like fucking don't know how to write these characters bullshit. We won't have like a fucking foaming at the mouth lunatic fascist playing Wonder Woman. Or I should say playing Wonder Woman in heavy air quotes because acting has a very broad definition if Gal Gadot is included. I don't know if her name is Gadot or Gadot, but I refuse to learn. So if she's Gal Gadot, she can fuck herself with an iron stick or whatever, metaphorically speaking. Enough champagne to fill the Nile. Oh, God. I saw that clip and I thought it was like from a tourism ad for like Egypt or something, and I didn't realize no, that's from a real movie that they spent actual money on. The T in Godot is pronounced she's in French. Is she? I don't fucking know. She says she's Israeli, but as we all know, that's not like a real place. So, like, where is she? Where's her family actually from? New York City? Probably. I don't know. Why don't I find out before I say something racist? Uh, you're not gonna give me Wikipedia? Yeah, Godot or Godot isn't even a real fucking name. Her family's actual last name is Greenstein, and they wanted it to sound more Hebrew, so they changed it. But yeah, her parents respectively are Czech and Polish, and Austrian, Russian, and German, according to Wikipedia. So yeah, she's not no one's from Israel. It isn't a fucking real place. It's a military base for the. It's an exceptionally large military base for the U.S. military with a little bit of an ethno state flavoring. It's Rhodesia, but worse somehow. I already got political 15 minutes in. Take your shots or whatever, everybody. Take your shots, smoke your bones, fucking inject your heroin. Well, probably don't do that, but I can't stop you. So do whatever you prefer. Um, what else did I? Let me go back to what I was watching while I was sick. Because for a while I was just watching YouTube till I felt good enough that I could concentrate on real shows. Uh, hmm. Damn it! What was that last thing I got? It was the first one I watched, so it makes sense I'd forget it so quickly. Let's find out. My Amazon history will remind me. Yeah, I know. I don't need to fucking sign in. I was in here earlier. Fuck you. We Live in Time. Oh, how could I forget? Fucking yeah. A24 finally released We Live in Time on disc. Sadly, only Blu-ray, not 4K. But whatever. So I got that, and I've watched what few bonus features there were. I try to wait till there's a good release, but that movie's just so fucking good that I had to go with it. God, We Live in Time is so fucking good. Um, it's still good when you're sober because the first time I watched it, I was very much not sober, so I made sure I was the second time to make sure it was like actually good and that I wasn't remembering it through rose tinted glasses. But no, it really is that good. It I mean, I've seen Andrew Garfield have equally good romantic chemistry with Emma Stone, but they were dating in real life at the time. As far as I know, he and Florence Pugh were not. So the fact that they're so good together, like I didn't doubt for 1 second that this couple had been together for over a decade and had a child together and loved each other more than anything. It was oh god, that movie's so good. I wish A24 did more like I mean they do physical releases, but I wish they were like more mainstream with it. They didn't because like I mean I found this one on Amazon, but a lot like some of the movies you have to go specifically to the A24 shop. Like I don't think you can get I Saw the TV Glow on disc any other way. That's another one I need to get. I Saw the TV Glow was fucking amazing. Okay, that was someone texting me. Uh, and you know what? Since it's new and fresh and still popular on Letterboxd, I watched Superman again. And as I've mentioned before, I like to get stoned for certain movies because I go into what I call limitless mode. And I call it that because I'm on like the drug from Limitless, where I can like analyze the movie really in depth and I can see every little thing and notice every little quirk and tweak and everything. So I took an edible, I watched Superman, and I moved it up on my list, on my Letterboxd rankings for the year because god damn it, that fucking movie is so good. It is the first time in my entire lifetime, because the ones that are good came before me. It's the first Superman movie released during my lifetime that didn't suck ass. Which they don't have a lot of competition because, well, as a friend of mine pointed out, you could argue the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 came out in our lifetimes because it was released in '06, but that's an alternate cut of a movie that already existed. So, you know, did I watch One Battle After Another yet? No. Funny enough, I have only ever seen one of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, Boogie Nights. He's made like 10 something movies. But Boogie Nights is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. So I just somehow have never watched his others, so I want to watch all of them before I see one battle after another, but I've heard it's fucking masterful. I did right before I got sick see The Long Walk. I didn't get the chance to talk about that on stream. But The Long Walk was pretty good. Not as good as I've heard One Battle After Another is, but it was pretty good. I mean, it's Stephen King. Like, Stephen King, movie adaptations of his works don't have a perfect track record by any means, but generally they're not bad. Like, I'd say there's probably been more decent ones than not. I'd have to like go through the whole 200 movie long list to confirm that, but like I've seen a lot of Stephen King adaptations and I've seen more good ones than bad. And so yeah, Long Walk was good. I'll probably watch it again when it's on streaming or disc or whatever. Um Cooper Hoffman, it's nice to see that he has inherited at least some of his father's acting talent. I mean, he's so young that he's obviously not explored it as much as his father did, but he'll he'll probably do more movies and be even better in more of them. The black dude from Alien Romulus, what's his name? David something? David Johnson? Jansen? David Johnson, yeah. He's by I don't know if I didn't talk about Alien Romulus on stream really. I can if you want, but there's not much to talk about. It's an okay movie. Okay. But he is great in it. He is fantastic. His character is the best part of the movie. So that was probably what tipped me over to I want to see The Long Walk in theaters was seeing that he was in it. Like, oh shit, he's really fucking good. And he was really good in Long Walk. He's really good at doing an American accent, which is not always the case with British actors. He and Cooper Hoffman are like the two main characters, and then there's a few others. Mark Hamill plays the villain, which is a little like he's playing a little bit of a caricature of that type of character, but it kind of works because it's like, authoritarian society. It makes sense that one of their key figureheads would be kind of like a ridiculous caricature of a human being. And it's nice to see Mark Hamill get to play villains because he usually plays heroes, except for Joker, but that's voice acting. But yeah, Long Walk is good. It's very tense. It does not shy away from like the gritty details of the book. Like there's literally one dude who dies because he's having diarrhea and has to slow down to have diarrhea, and he slows down too long, and he violated the rules of the walk. So bam. So he just dies like no pun intended, shittiest, most undignified death you can imagine of like realizing he's going to get shot to death as he squats in the road, shitting himself explosively. Like, oh, poor guy. Yeah, you're right. I forgot he was Ozai. I mean, that's voice roles, of course, but I haven't seen Mark Hamill do live action villains that often. I'm sure he must have done more that I'm just forgetting about, but he's like these days primarily a voice actor. He pretty much has been for the last 30 years. I'm glad to see him getting to do some live action stuff again though, because he has not that he's bad in Star Wars. Star Wars is my favorite thing ever made for a reason. But Star Wars isn't really a role like Luke Skywalker isn't really a role that shows off a ton of his acting talent. Like Luke is a fairly simple, easy to understand character. Um has he voiced a hero? He voices what's his name? Art, the costume making guy on Invincible. He's done so much voice acting that he must have voiced a hero at some point that I'm forgetting. I mean, I mostly think of Joker or Ozai, as you just said. Um, but yeah, you guys, you ever see the movie, what's it called, The Big Red One? Because there's another movie called The Thin Red Line, which I think is also World War II. But anyway, The Big Red One is a World War II movie from the early '80s. It was the namesake of Call of Duty Big Red One, the video game from my childhood, which I know that at least some of my friends have played. Yeah, George Lucas, it does have somewhat of a reputation for I wouldn't say terrible director for actors, but he definitely like has hard time articulating what he wants from actors. I don't want to armchair diagnose too much, but George Lucas has clearly been struck down bad with the tism. His ideas are weird enough that, like, yeah, that makes sense. But so the Big Red One is it's a World War II movie from the early '80s. It stars Lee Marvin, who is way too fucking old for the role, if we're being real, but like it kind of works because his character, like his character is a World War One veteran who then served again in World War II, which there were people like that. As for why he looks equally old in the World War One flashback, well, it was 1981 and they couldn't de-age motherfuckers with CG, so shut up. Anyway, it's a pretty good movie. It's hard to judge it objectively because it's one of those movies that at the time was really groundbreaking, but everything it did that was groundbreaking has been done better since by movies like Saving Private Ryan or Schindler's List or whatever. But if you can put that aside, it's a pretty solid movie. And the reason I'm talking about it is because Mark Hamill is one of the soldiers in the movie. Oh my god, yeah. The fucking saw backwards baseball cap to make him look younger. I mean, they did like not show as much of him. Like they shot more from his POV for that scene, and the scene is literally like 2 minutes long. So you can kind of like just suspend your disbelief a little. But so Mark Hamill's one of the soldiers, and he's like an artist, which I think Mark Hamill is in real life, like an amateur artist at least. But he's a sniper. And he's kind of like he's not exactly cocky, but like he's a young dude who's really like thinks he's going to make it out of this and thinks he's really good at what he does because he is. And so he starts he has a lot of the role really shows off Mark Hamill's acting range because he starts off with a lot of like piss and vinegar and he becomes more jaded as the movie goes on because they go through some bad stuff. They go through D-Day, they witness some really fucked up shit. There's like a whole scene where they have to like deliver a baby. This woman in like one of the villages is in labor and they have to like deliver her baby in a downed tank because it's the only safe place there. So because there's no cover, like all the buildings are fucking gone. So they just find like a derelict tank that its treads were fucked up but is otherwise undamaged. And they have to like hide in the tank, delivering the baby. Um, And of course, these are all like 18-year-old dudes. Half of them are probably virgins, so they've never seen a vagina in real life, let alone seen one giving birth. So they're like, "Ah, fuck, no, that's nasty," and they're like trying to, they're using an like belt-fed machine gun ammo belt as a stirrup to hold up one of her legs on the little piece of scaffolding or not scaffolding, one of the pipes in the tank. So it's a good movie, and like I guess is this a spoiler? I mean, fuck you. The movie's 45 years old. You've had time to see it. Somewhat near the end, they liberate one of the concentration camps. I forget if it's Dachau or Auschwitz or one of them. But that's kind of like that scene is where you get to see what Mark Hamill can do as an actor. Because he's so horrified by what the Nazis have done in this camp because they're finding like the bodies and the fucking barracks and everything that one of the Nazi soldiers who's left, because most of them fled, but one's left. I think he pulls out his pistol, he tries to kill Mark Hamill, and Hamill shoots him with his rifle in self defense, and he collapses against the thing, and he's like sitting up against the wall dead. And Hamill's standing there with the 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. It's a sniper rifle, so it's bolt action, and he just very calmly cocks it, fires at the guy again, does it again and again and again. He fires the whole, like, however many rounds the gun holds into this guy's now dead corpse. He was dead after the first shot. And Lee Marvin's he's only called the sergeant. We never actually find out his name. He kind of pats him on the shoulder. He's like, I think you got him. And then he leaves to, like, give him a minute. and he's still standing there with the dead-eyed look, and then he just loads another mag into the rifle and keeps doing it. He's so fucking pissed at this guy that he's like shooting his corpse. But he's pissed in like that tranquil fury way. He's not like he's like it's a great movie. If you can find it, like I had to rent it from the library because that's how relatively obscure it is. But yeah, if you can find the Big Red One, it's a great movie. I'm just remembering that that's why Mark Hamill is the narrator of Call of Duty Big Red One, was as a reference to his role in this movie. Anyway, what was I talking about before I got off on the tangent about Big Red One? Mark Hamill as an actor. Yeah, he's good. He has more acting range than he got credit for. He probably should have had more of a mainstream career. I mean, I doubt he's unhappy with where he is in life. He's king of voice acting. He's been rich for 50 something years. He has a wife who has loved him since 1976. Yeah, unlike most Hollywood people, he's been married to the same woman since 76. He has kids who love him, grandkids. I'm sure he's very happy in life. But god damn it, he's a better actor than he got credit for. He should have. I'm not saying he's as good as Harrison Ford, but he should have had a more Harrison Ford like career. And then, of course, Carrie Fisher went through what she went through, but she made herself a very nice career as a script doctor, including on like real movies. Like you even a little bit uncredited on the Star Wars prequels, but like yeah, you'll be like watching. I mean, the nature of being a script doctor is not really being credited, but you'll be reading up on like A Fish Called Wanda or some movie like that. And you're like, Carrie Fisher wrote that line? Like, oh shit, fucking Princess Leia. She was also good. She has. It's hard to judge Star Wars objectively because it's such a cultural institution. Like it feels like trying to judge the sculpting technique on like fucking David, like Michelangelo's David. Like, what the hell's the point? It's a classic for a reason. But like the original 3 Star Wars movies there's a reason they caught on in the era they did, because they're like actual movies. Not that the ones later on aren't. I'll defend the later Star Wars stuff more than a lot of people will. But the originals, like, yeah, you can really see how the same type of Hollywood that bred Taxi Driver and The French Connection and fucking Taking of Pelham 123 and goddamn Halloween and all those also led to Star Wars. Like, it feels at home in the time and place it's from, but yet also feels relatively timeless. Obviously, nothing feels timeless, but they're good fucking movies. Like, Lucas, as much as he's a nutcase and as much as he definitely needs an editor, he had an idea, and motherfucker, he was gonna make that idea work, and he did, and now he's a billionaire for it, and he can self-finance all his weird little indie shit that he does. Good for him. If only we could all be so lucky. If only I had my own fucking video editing ranch that was so big it had its own fire department. Which apparently he housed homeless people there during COVID for free, which that's cool. Good for you, George Lucas. You're the one billionaire that I'll let live when the revolution comes. Especially because he's already said, like, he's basically just letting the money accrue interest, and when he dies, it's all going to charity. Which, you could do a lot worse with your life than George Lucas did. He only ever directed 6 movies? That's weird, right? Like, he's a legendary fucking filmmaker, but the only movies he ever actually directed were THX 1138, American Graffiti, and then the 4 Star Wars movies that he directed. Everything else he's ever done was producing, writing, mostly producing. That's nuts. It's like when you get reminded, no, Spielberg did not technically direct Poltergeist, or like No, they're the big one. No, Tim Burton did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone thinks he did, but he didn't. I think was busy and couldn't. I forget why he didn't. He wanted to. I know why Spielberg didn't direct Poltergeist, because there was like DGA rules because he did ET the same year, but rumors have persisted for decades that has he really? Ridley Scott has never written a movie? I believe you, but that's nuts. But yeah, regarding Poltergeist, it's on my mind because Halloween. Rumors Toby Hooper is credited as director of Poltergeist, but rumors have persisted for decades that it was really Spielberg just feeding him instructions and he was the one saying action. Because that Spielberg wanted to direct it and for DGA reasons couldn't, so he had to like go, shit, and he found Toby Hooper. But rumors of, they've been around that he really directed it. You know what? Fucking whatever. I get it. If I had an idea, some of my ideas are personal enough to me that I don't trust them in the hands of anyone else. And then others I don't give a shit about and I let you do whatever you want with them. But yeah, what horror stuff should let me ask your advice, chat. What horror stuff should I watch this Halloween that I haven't seen before? I already made it through the big 3 franchises. I've seen all of Halloween, all of it, all of Friday the 13th, all of Nightmare on Elm Street. So what do you think I should do? I still need to do Texas Chainsaw, Hellraiser, Candyman. I could do Candyman, Terrifier. I don't really care about those, but maybe I'll give them a shot. Yeah, I didn't grow up with horror movies really because my dad's like a fucking elitist, selfish asshole who thinks that they're lame because he never got to see any good ones. So like I'm discovering all the horror shit later on in life. Oh, Evil Dead, I've seen all those. Okay, Scott's only writing credits on Letterboxd are a short student film he did in a prologue short for Alien Covenant. That's weird. Like, I believe you. He's definitely a director first and foremost, but like, man, you never co-wrote anything? I mean, I guess other than these 2 things. I didn't love Alien Covenant or Prometheus. I thought they were both okay. Like, they're fine. They got some interesting stuff in them. I applaud them, right, especially Prometheus for like trying to be different. But since Aliens, the second one, as the S in Aliens would imply, the only Alien project since then that I've really, really loved is Alien Earth, which I'm sad because I've got too used to having that to watch on Tuesday nights. I've been meaning to watch. I'm assuming that's Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist. I don't know why you censored Rosemary's Baby. I'm assuming because of who directed it, but hey, he did that before he did the bad thing, so it's a little different. I've seen The Exorcist. I've seen all of them, in fact, and most of them aren't very good. The first one is a classic for a reason, and the third one is surprisingly great. Like weirdly, the third one of all of them, and I can explain why in a minute. But yeah, the second is fucking bad. It's bad in ways that are interesting. Like it's bad. It's a form of bad you only get from swinging for the fences. So I'll give it some credit for that. And then they did. Yes, they did the third one. Yeah, and then in like 2004. Yeah, 2004 they did Exorcist: The Beginning, which is a prequel about Father Merrin, starring Stellan Skarsgård. And what happened with that movie was that they shot it twice. They shot a version of it, and then they were like, "This isn't scary enough." I guess like the studio said, "No, fuck you, try again." But they'd like sunk so much money in that they didn't want to just shut it down. So they pretty much shot the whole entire movie again and released it, Exorcist: The Beginning, and it sucked, and no one really liked it. And so then people heard it was kind of like the first Snyder cut. people heard like, oh, there's this whole alternate version of the movie that they made. We want that one, and there was a big fan campaign for it. So then the following year, because it was already mostly done, they released Dominion prequel to The Exorcist, which is it has the same basic plot, but a lot of shit is different in it. Which is I've seen both of them. It's better, but still not very good. And then Exorcist Believer was the one that came out maybe 2 years ago, which I saw that one in theaters actually, and it was okay, I guess. Like it was a legacy sequel. It was fucking Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was exactly what a legacy sequel always is. Oh shit, the same thing happened again. We got to go get the people who dealt with it the first time so they can deal with it again. So it was like perfectly competently done and the actors were fine in it. It just like it didn't have any fucking sauce. Which is it's a shame because it's the same director who did the latest trilogy of Halloween movies, and I liked those. I like those more than most people. So I was excited to see his take on Exorcist, and then it wasn't very good. He was supposed to direct a trilogy of them, and is Blumhouse? Yeah, Blumhouse is doing them, and they paid like $300 million for the rights to the Exorcist franchise, and part of the stipulation in the contract is that they are contractually obligated to make a trilogy, no matter how each one does. So, like, they made Exorcist Believer, and then there was supposed to be a direct sequel called Deceiver that was supposed to come out in 2024, and obviously didn't. I think they're still working on it. Yeah, I need to do that myself, actually. I haven't seen enough of his stuff. But yeah, so like Exorcist Believer was kind of it's funny. Ellen Burstyn, she was the star of the original, and they've spent I think 50 years trying to get her to come back for one of the numerous sequels they've attempted, and she keeps telling them to go fuck themselves because why would she not? That she sees what she's being handed. And finally, what happened with Believer, because she came back for it, was that they just offered her. She's open about this too. She was open about it during production, during the press tour. It's not that she liked the script so much, it was that they offered her so much money that she couldn't say no. But to her credit, she she has like I think an acting related charity. I think it helps underprivileged youths like discover acting or whatever. And so she said, like, fine, pay me this obscene sum of money. And then they did, and then she donated all of it to that charity. Um, and she, like, during the press tour was openly like, I did this movie for the money. I don't really care. Fuck you all. Which fair enough. If I was as old and as relatively rich as her, I'd be the same way. She's like 93. I mean, she can still act. I'll give her a lot of credit. She can still act, but like, fuck me, dude. It was kind of sad seeing her get dragged into another Exorcist movie. Actually, not unrelated to horror, because follow-up to Passion of Joan of Arc is a very well-regarded vampire movie called Vampire. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm trying to get more into like artsy film shit as I get older. I think I know Vampire. I don't think I've seen it, but I know of it. But yeah, I respect Ellen Burstyn for just being like, "Fuck you, give me the goddamn money." Because I remember because after I watched it, I was like, "Why is this such dog shit?" So I was Exorcist 2, The Heretic. So I was reading up on it after I watched it, and apparently what happened because Linda Blair came back for that one. It was only a few years later too, like maybe 4 or 5 years later. So what happened was that they tried several times to get Linda Blair to come back, and she was like, "No, these scripts are terrible." And I think on their third attempt, they finally gave her a script that she thought was good enough to be worth her time. So she was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." She signed the contract, and then they made like a million changes to it during production after she could no longer back out, to the point that it was no longer the script she was handed. And she was like, "Hey, fuck you guys. You basically lied to me to get me to be in this." But she had a contract. She had to do it. She's perfectly good in Exorcist 2. It's just that the movie sucks. If you're trying to get more into artsy shit, have you seen any Tarkovsky? Remind me of what he did. Hang on, because his name is familiar. I feel like I've seen something of his. Andrei Tarkovsky. I have some of the stuff in my watch list. So yeah, I've heard of him, and I will watch his stuff. Yeah, Solaris. Solaris I know is in my watch list, so I'm gonna watch that at some point. Yeah, Linda Blair got fucked by Exorcist 2 was the point of that story. And I kind of get why she didn't come back until Believer, when they probably offered her an obscene amount of money. Of course, now she's much older and therefore looks fairly different. So they like ADR'd in a line of Ellen Burstyn saying, "Oh, Reagan, you came to see me," or whatever, because half the audience would probably go, "Who the fuck is that supposed to be?" I think she's literally in like one shot. like, like she clearly did not like whatever they handed her other than the money. But fair enough. I didn't love seeing it either. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the next Exorcist movie is good. I don't know if they'll follow up on the relative cliffhanger of Believer. I kind of hope they do, just because I like those characters well enough. It's not their fault the movie is shit. I'd like to see them in something better. Uh, yeah, it sucks. It sucks for everyone involved, I guess. Ellen Burstyn did not come back for 2. Like, they just kind of like Reagan's legal guardian is like their housekeeper. I forget if she was the one from the first movie, but they just kind of explain like, "Oh yeah, she's off in California working on a project, so like I'm staying with the housekeeper." Because Ellen Burstyn took one look at the script for Exorcist 2 and was like, "Get the fuck out of my face with this shit." Fair enough. If I was handed that script, I'd probably throw it at you. It's a fucking terrible movie. Fucking total. They got James Earl Jones for a fucking Exorcist movie, and then they just like shit in his mouth with what they handed him. Like, fuck you. And then 3 is weirdly good. Because what happened was, I could pull up sources for all of this, so I'm not making this shit up, but I just like memorize fun facts, and you can generally trust me because I generally remember them correctly. The author of the original Exorcist book, William Peter Blatty, who was also co-writer of the screenplay with William Friedkin. I think they're both credited. I know they both worked on it together. So William Peter Blatty saw Exorcist 2 and was like, "Fuck you! You just took a steaming dump on my work. Fuck you all. You want to see an Exorcist sequel? I'll write you a fucking Exorcist sequel, motherfucker." And he wrote a second book called Legion, which came out and was pretty well received. So Hollywood came a knocking, looking for another Exorcist movie, and William Peter Blatty directed it himself, which I think is the only adaptation of his work that he directed himself. And it's fucking good. Like, it's not quite as good as the original, but it's got some really good shit in it. It's mostly a detective story because it's like the detective who was investigating the case in the first movie. It's mostly about him. They didn't get most of the same actors back, sadly, but they got George C. Scott to replace him, who doesn't look anything like the other guy, but god damn it, he's good. And it has been like 10 something years, so fine, he aged funny, whatever. But they did get back what was his name, Father Karras, the younger priest, Father Karras. They got that actor back to reprise his role. They got Brad Dourif playing this like fucked up serial killer who's been institutionalized. He's amazing in it. It's mostly a detective movie. In fact, it also got fucked in editing because the whole reason there's an exorcism scene at the end is because they were like, well, it is an exorcist movie. We need an exorcism in it. Which I like. There is an alternate cut that we finally got released, which I've heard isn't quite as good, but like it's just a little anticlimactic. But despite the occasional shortcoming, Exorcist 3 is good. The people in it are great. The story is great. There's some fucking amazing cinematography in it. Like I respect the hell out of that movie. It's it and the original are the only ones I'd buy on disc. It kind of bugs me that it's called Exorcist 3 because that implies that you have to watch Exorcist 2 to get it. You do not. 3 basically pretends 2 doesn't exist. Like 2 is despite containing, Reagan's character, 2 is a fairly self-contained story. Like none of the Exorcist ones since 2 have referenced it in any capacity. Probably because it sucks and everyone hates it. I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame when a fucking franchise goes down the toilet like that. Maybe it shouldn't have been a franchise. How about that, guys? Maybe find something fucking original instead of making goddamn sequels to everything. And the problem has only gotten worse as time has gone on. We have like 50 Ghostbusters movies. What is it? 10 Fast and Furious plus at least one spinoff I remember. I don't know. Like, I could point to the million Marvel movies, but the Marvel movies, they feel less like endless sequels and more like endless seasons of a TV show, which is a different problem. And you could go back and forth on whether or not it's a better or worse problem to have. But yeah, like Marvel feels like a TV show. It pretty much has since after the first Avengers movie. It feels more like a long running TV show than it does a series of movies. I should talk about that. Like, I should actually do some research and compare, like, I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down in my document to do research on later. Which is why you should see that new PTA movie. I know you want to see his other films first, but I urge you to see in theaters till studios. It's okay to let people make real movies. Depending on the timing, I might. Because I really like Paul Thomas Anderson. He, like, despite having only seen one of his fucking 11 movies and some of his shorts I've seen, but he's so good. The fact that he was 26 when he made Boogie Nights fucking infuriates me. Like, fuck you. I'm never gonna make anything a tenth as good, and I'm older than you and more experienced in quotes. Like, fuck you. But he's so fucking good though. Like, I can't be mad at him. I guess he's the reason. He and Quentin Tarantino, I read this the other day, are the reason that Fiona Apple quit doing coke because she got stuck in a private theater with the two of them while they were on coke. And as much as I love both of them as filmmakers, I could definitely see the two of them being, let alone on coke, the two of them sober being fucking insufferable together. You add cocaine into that mix, like, fuck me. I'm surprised she didn't kill them all. Yeah, One Battle After Another isn't technically an original story since it's loosely based on a book, but also Americans can't read, so it doesn't count. Yeah, I feel like like Inherent Vice was also based on a book, I think. It's not his first time adapting a book. I mean, hell, even Boogie Nights was adapted from a short film he made. Yeah, fucking 18-year-old Paul Thomas Anderson made a short film called The Dirk Diggler Story that's better than like anything I've ever fucking made. And he financed it via like spending a summer cleaning cages at the pet store. Now his dad was in Hollywood, so he like knew Hollywood people, but like I can't imagine being 18 years old and getting fucking Richard Riley for my short film. Like, fuck you. Ooh, I'm Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm a talented writer and director who's worked with a million talented actors, and I'm with Maya Rudolph, and I have children and a happy family life with her. Fuck you. Fuck you, Paul Thomas Anderson, for living a happier life than me. You fucking prick. But you know what? Keep making movies though. I'll be less mad at you if you keep making goddamn movies. But yeah, he is good. He's one of the few, as you're saying here, let people make real movies. He seems to be one of the few like actual filmmakers who, one way or another, can get the studio on board with his like actual work. Like Scorsese can do it because he's royalty. Um, you are, I believe, allowed to type that out. Imagine being barely legal 18 and making a short film about porn. Well, yeah, that's the thing is the short film version is like a mockumentary, so it doesn't actually have any sex in it. It's framed like it's interviews with retired porn actors. So they're all fully clothed. Like we get to see Dirk in like a leopard speedo. That's about as explicit as it gets. Um but yeah, it's the same basic concept, but obviously much shorter because it's only like 25 minutes. So it's shot like it's a documentary. There's like voiceover and interviews and shit. It's that kind of movie, and it works. Like it's very good. It's not quite as good as the finished version, but almost no movie is. It was his first exploration of that idea, and then later on, like 8 years later, when he had made a real movie and could do basically whatever the fuck he wanted, he expanded the idea into feature length. But yeah, he didn't. It wasn't like a school project, so he wasn't like there weren't rules about what he was allowed to include in it. I think he was 19 by the time it came out. He came out like at festivals and shit. By that time, he was 19, so maybe he shot it quickly and he wasn't barely legal. But it's on YouTube. The Dirk Diggler story. It's like 27 minutes, and it's good. I recommend it. I'm surprised it's not on the bonus features for the Boogie Nights Blu-ray. Maybe they couldn't clear the rights with some of the actors. But I know two of the actors from it are in the finished film, like the feature version. Because Richard Riley, who he plays the Colonel, the like pedophilic porn producer with the suspiciously young girlfriends. So he was the original Jack Horner. I don't know why he didn't come back. Maybe he wasn't available or whatever. But they gave him like the smaller role in the film version, basically as like an Easter egg. And similarly, the original Dirk Diggler, who was not Mark Wahlberg, he was some other guy who I don't even think is a professional actor. He makes a cameo as the stereo store customer that Don Cheadle tries to upsell on the TK421 modification. Also, I think on YouTube is the failed TV pilot edit of Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I did hear that. Yeah, I forgot about that. By the way, you told me that you watched the like film edited version of Twin Peaks. Where did you find that? Was that on streaming? I don't think it was. Because after I watched Twin Peaks, I'd be a little curious to see that, even though I've heard it sucks because of the way they ended it. But yeah, by the way, the TK421 modification that Don Cheadle is trying to sell the guy on doesn't exist, which I guessed that from the movie. It's on YouTube and the Blu-ray. Okay, good to know. Thank you. So I wondered, my autistic ass noticed this, and I wondered when watching Boogie Nights if this was true, and it was. The TK421 modification is a deep cut Star Wars reference because TK421 was the call sign of the stormtrooper that I forget if Luke or Han does it, but when Luke and Han steal the stormtrooper armor in A New Hope, one of the bridge officers says, TK421, why aren't you at your post? And then he walks out and like knocks on his thing to say, hey, my comms don't work. But yeah, that was indeed Paul Thomas Anderson being as autistic about Star Wars as I am, and including that deep cut fucking reference. Which, given the context, is clearly something that Don Cheadle heard in the movie when he saw it and decided to co-opt because it makes him sound smarter than he is. God, I love that fucking movie. I already have the Blu-ray, but I hope they do like a 30th anniversary 4K with new, like from Criterion or whoever. Like, oh, I'd buy it again. That's one of my favorite fucking movies. God, I love Boogie Nights. The Blu-ray they made is good. Like it has a lot of cool shit on it. It's got like 30 something minutes of deleted scenes. Heather Graham gets naked in one of them again, which is awesome. The standalone film version of Twin Peaks Pilot is an ass. It just feels really abortive at the end because they smashed 2 seasons into 10 minutes. That's what you said. You've told me that before. I think you posted on Letterboxd about it. But yeah, what did they do that for again? Wasn't it like in case the pilot didn't get picked up or something? Like there was some reason. Didn't the network make him shoot it that way, or I don't know. It's weird to think of a network making David Lynch do anything, but I guess occasionally he had to give in a little bit. He was another for a long fucking time. He could get Hollywood to sign off on his shit. Eventually, like I think Netflix wasn't playing ball. He had some project he was trying to get made with Netflix, but then he died, so we're probably never going to get it now unless his daughter wants to pick it up, which maybe she will. Who knows? But yeah, David Lynch got a lot of weird shit made. I don't even like love his movies, but I respect the hell out of him because he's like a genuine artist with something to say. Yeah, okay, here it is. It was basically that. I think it was released in Europe as a VHS and the series didn't air. Yeah, I think you're right. I read something about that. Which is, a shame. Twin Peaks is, from my understanding, really good. Like it's an actual art thing. Um, who are some other like Tarantino? Yeah, he's one. Tarantino can basically do whatever the fuck he wants in Hollywood. Um, like no editor is gonna tell Tarantino, "Hey, this is a weird decision. Let's not do this." George Lucas, for better or worse, had a time where he could do that, and then we got the Star Wars prequels from it. And whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you. I think it's kind of a mix of both, personally. I showed my roommate Boogie Nights a couple months back, and I should have filmed a reaction to the Marky Mark prosthetic dick reveal because it caught her so off guard. I'm not sure why it would catch her off guard. She's been hearing how big his cock is for 2.5 hours. Like, did she think they were just never going to show it? Because I kind of did too when I first saw it. I figured that they would forever let it be the unseen, but then at the end they whip it out, which I think they confirmed it's a prosthetic. Yeah, she didn't know they were going to show it. Yeah, I doubt Mark Wahlberg's actual fucking hog is that big. I'm pretty. My friend told me this. One of there's a guy named Greg Nicotero, and I don't know if any of you know who he is. No, he is not Willem Dafoe. That is true. Willem Dafoe's genitals were, quote, confusingly large, and they used a body double for a nude scene in one movie because of it. Because his dick was so big that it was distracting, I guess. Which that makes sense. He has the energy of a man with a fucking sizable hog. So anyway, there's a Hollywood makeup VFX guy named Greg Nicotero. And he's been working in Hollywood forever. Like he got his early start doing like assistant stuff on some of John Carpenter's later movies. Like I think he did Prince of Darkness. Not like solo, but he did some work on Prince of Darkness. While I talk, let me find that out. So anyway, he's probably most famous for doing Walking Dead. In fact, he's directed a number of episodes of it. Like he's kind of ascended from makeup guy to like creative guy on Walking Dead. Yeah, here we go. Here, let me share my screen. Yeah, this guy. I don't know if I know what he looks like because I've watched a lot of the Walking Dead after show, Talking Dead. But yeah, he looks like this. Cool dude. Very very like down to earth guy, despite being in Hollywood. But so one of the relatively early things he worked on before he started doing a lot of horror stuff was Boogie Nights, and they asked him about it in an interview, and they said like, "So did you make the fake dick at the end?" And he just kind of declined to answer with a knowing smile on his face. So he did. Oh shit, I forgot about this. He did there we go. I forgot I could just do that. He got an Oscar for best makeup for Chronicles of Narnia. I completely forgot that. Good for him. He's earned it. Who the hell's Frank Nicotero? Okay, I don't know this guy, but I guess that's his cousin. But yeah, did okay, no, he didn't get a start on Prince of Darkness, but he did work on other famous Hollywood horror movies from 1987, such as Evil Dead 2. Did some Pulp. Oh, he did some uncredited stuff on Pulp Fiction. Yep, Boogie Nights. There we go. Special makeup effects supervisor. So he definitely made Mark Wahlberg's big, thick, veiny cock. God, I love that movie so much. I love that Mark Wahlberg is like semi ashamed of it. Like he's tongue in cheek about it, sort of, but he kind of like joked in an interview. Oh, I hope God forgives me for that one. Now, granted, he's like Catholic and shit, and he also didn't have kids back then, and he does now. So I think since he has kids now, he's a little like, yeah, let's de-emphasize the fact that I got my Hollywood start playing a porn star with a 13-inch cock. I think that's what they said it was. Well, when he's rehearsing his dialogue, he says, "Can you handle 13 inches?" Because that's his character's line. It's unclear whether that is like the canon length of Dirk Diggler's cock or if that's just porn dialogue. But yeah, of all the things in his life Mark Wahlberg has to be ashamed of, Boogie Nights isn't that high on the list. Yeah, to be fair, I know what incident you're referring to, and he is very publicly ashamed of that and did like make amends with the guy he did that to. And he was like 16, so he probably got like talked into it by someone else. I'm not defending him too hard, but like, all right, I can believe that he's a different person now. 35. I think it's just the one incident that you're referring to. Are you referring to the Korean guy? I think that only happened the one time. All the others was just like drugs and petty theft, as far as I know. And then there was the 9/11 comments, but that's just like dumbass actor brain, you know. I don't want to defend Mark Wahlberg too hard. I'm not like a massive fan of his, but like, let's be a little nuanced here. He is mostly just a guy now, a guy with potentially some shitty takes on some issues. But yeah, it's so funny that he did Boogie Nights where he gives I'll say it, an Oscar-worthy acting performance, and then he just never did it again. He just never fucking did it again. He was Vietnamese, not Korean, and also got a rap sheet for throwing rocks at black people. At least racist white guy from Southie. True. I thought the guy was Korean, but he thought he was Vietnamese. But I might be the racist here. I might be misremembering that. He got a rap sheet for throwing rocks. I mean, maybe he like actually hurt someone, but like I'm surprised that anyone got the police involved for throwing rocks. But yeah, I mean, he was a edgy white 16-year-old in Southie with some really fucking bad influences. The idea that he was at one time racist isn't that crazy to me. I think he got over that with time. I know that he was very apologetic to the Vietnamese guy he attacked, and that he like they formally made peace and like befriended each other, kind of. So like good for him, I guess. I don't know. I'd like to think he's a better person than he was in 1988. Maybe he was. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. All I know is that he made one movie I really fucking loved, and that after that he made a bunch of movies that were fine. Everyone talks about his performance in The Departed. He's pretty good. He's pretty good in Ted. He's pretty good in Patriots Day. He's made a lot of movies he was pretty good in, but he didn't ever reach what he did in Boogie Nights. I mean that one scene during the like coke deal with the little Alfred Molina cameo with fucking Jesse's girl playing as the little Asian dude sets off fireworks. Like that one bit where the camera lingers on him for I think 53 seconds. I think that's what it is. As he just sits there and silently realizes how fucked he is and does all of the acting with his face. Which, by the way, that's not in the script. That was something Mark Wahlberg did on the day and they caught by accident and put it in the movie. So he has the potential. He has just chosen not to use it. He did tweet some stuff in support of BLM at the height of the George Floyd protests. I hope that can be taken at face value and that he's become a better person. Yeah, I mean, I doubt he's like a fucking communist, but like, I think he got over being racist, which, in that time and place, you'd be calling them slurs like it was their name. So to some extent, I can't blame him for how he was when he was 16. But yeah, beating the shit out of a dude for no reason is pretty fucked up. So I'm glad that he like made amends with the guy over that. I guess he because the guy was like blind in one eye, and for years Wahlberg thought he did that and was carrying around like a lot of guilt about it. And then when he met the guy as an adult and like made peace with him and everything, the guy said, "No, you don't need to feel bad about that. I lost the vision in my eye fighting in Vietnam. That enough. I was already blind in that eye before you hit me." So at least that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. And so I guess that was like a big source of relief for him. But the Catholicism shit is fucking lame. But hey, it kept him off of coke. So good for him, I guess. I guess for a while back, and I know some of you are gonna balk at this, and I kind of did too. A while back, he tried to like become a reservist LAPD member for some reason, or maybe it wasn't LAPD, but some police department, and which that's fucking lame. Like, I only heard about it because uh, they initially rejected his application because being having the rap sheet that he has meant that he's actually not allowed to use guns outside of a film set. Like on the film set, they're not real, so he's allowed to use them there, but he's not allowed to handle real guns. So he applied for like a pardon with the governor or whoever over because he wanted to do this thing. I forget if it worked out for him or not. Because if he applied for the pardon, then that'd be taken off his record. Could be worse. He could be Protestant. Fucking true, man. I can make fun of Catholics all day, and they deserve it, but fuck me, at least they believe their own bullshit. Because evangelicals fucking do not believe in anything, and statistically, I think they're the most common form of American Christian. To varying degrees of piousness, that is. I found this out a few months ago. Statistically, most church-going Americans attend a megachurch. Doesn't that fucking horrify you? That's kind of nuts to me because I don't want to dox myself too hard, but I live in Massachusetts, which is one of I think 4 or 5 states where Catholics outnumber Protestants. And I mean, I never really went to church, but on the rare occasion that I got dragged to church because we were at my grandma's house or whatever, it was a Catholic church because Catholic grandparents. And so as painful as that is for me, fuck, at least it's a real goddamn building that was built several hundred years ago and has beautiful stained glass and marble columns and shit. Whereas evangelicals are going to the fucking rock concert laser light show stadium and there's a fucking Hitler speech every so often in between fog machines and laser lights. Say what you will about fucking Catholic priests. Or I shouldn't have phrased it like that. Fucking say what you will about Catholic priests, but at least they somewhat believe their own shit. At least most Catholic priests don't have private fucking jets. I don't know about specifically evangelicism, but Protestants, which evangelicals fall under, are the predominant religion in the U.S. Yeah, evangelical basically I mean, I'm sure it has a technical definition that I'm not going to go fucking Google because I don't care. But basically, colloquially speaking, at least when we say evangelical, people are generally referring to very devout fundamentalist Protestants, or sometimes Baptists, but I think Baptist might be a form of Protestant. I forget. Who fucking cares? It's been a long time since I learned about the Protestant Reformation in school. You know what? Why don't I find out? Why don't I not be an idiot and actually Google this shit instead of talking out of my ass? Yeah, baptism does fall under Protestantism. Okay, thank you, Ivas. I don't know if you want me saying your real name on here, so I won't. Uh, to quote a meme I saw a while ago, Catholic music is cool because it sounds like the Halo theme, and Protestant music sucks because it sounds like Coldplay. Fuck me, is that true, man? Yeah, like Catholic, for all of its many faults, the child fucking, the money hoarding, the fucking blatant hypocrisy, at least the Catholic Church sponsored some cool art shit. Like they, fucking Michelangelo and goddamn all those beautiful churches with their architecture and their stained glass and their fucking, organ sound and organ, the musical instrument, not like the things in your body. Like, fuck me, at least they co opted some useful shit throughout human history. What the fuck have evangelicals contributed to the planet other than like bigotry and violence? I don't know, memes? Are the memes worth the bigotry and violence? I mean, fucking that's up to you, I guess. Yeah, Protestants are like they basically just believe whatever they want, and I get that like everyone religious does that, but it's like come on, like they made that their fucking religion. Like they don't like at least when Catholics ignore something the Pope says, they kind of like feel bad about it and like, yeah, well, we're all flawed, we're all sinners, right? Whereas Protestants just like are unashamed. Nope, fuck you. All that shit about helping the poor in the Bible, that's fucking woke bullshit. Eat my shit and hair. Fuck you, poor people. And to which I say, no, fuck you, evangelicals, you fucking whiny bunch of babies. Oh, I still got my fucking Greg Nicotero thing open. This is why I thought he did Prince of Darkness, because he did do In the Mouth of Madness, which did not come out in 95. That's a fucking... Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm not an idiot. So, yeah, that's why I thought he did Prince of Darkness, because he did a different, also very good John Carpenter movie. God, I love John Carpenter. He is one of my favorite directors. Like, I haven't talked about him a ton because he doesn't really make movies anymore. He does, like, music and stuff, but, like, fuck me. He is so good. Why is he so fucking good? That one scene from Monty Python and the Meaning of Life where the Protestant couple hears the Catholic song about sperm and talk about how proud of being Protestant they are. Yeah, that is true. At least the Protestants are a lot more willing to toss out the fucking birth control restrictions. Um, the evangelicals do. They claim they don't, but they're all fucking each other. They're all bisexual. They're all molesting children. They're all fucking doing drugs. They're all paying for their mistresses' abortions. None of them believe in a goddamn thing. At least when Catholics fucking do dumbass religious horse shit, they actually somewhat believe in it. But yes, Monty Python and the Meaning of Life is a masterpiece, and Every Sperm is Sacred plays on a loop in my head 24/7. Every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is great. If a sperm is wasted, God gets quite irate. I can't really sing, but I did my best there. But yeah, God, I love Monty Python. John Cleese is a little bit of an annoying prick on Twitter sometimes. He's not like full on conservative, but he does a little bit of like, wokeness gets annoying sometimes, am I right? Which, all right, fine. Stop right there, and we can still be friends. I can disagree with you a little bit and still be friends with you. Don't go any further, John Cleese, please. If you do, I'm going to have to chalk it up to your brain melting because of age, and I'd rather not do that. I'd rather keep respecting you till you die. So please Please, John Cleese, I'm fucking begging you. This is an open letter to John Cleese. Don't be a prick on the internet anymore. Not that you're like that bad right now, but like, please get off Twitter. Go retire with your grandchildren or make more Monty Python, whatever it is you do now. I think he still works. So just don't become J.K. Rowling is my point. J.K. Rowling had a chance to not be a fucking lunatic, and she chose violence instead. I don't know why. She would have been uncritically beloved until like 3 centuries from now if she had shut the fuck up. That is true. Monty Python was a little too comfortable with blackface. In their, I hesitate to say defense, but in explanation of that, blackface does have a different connotation in the UK than it does in the US because they just don't have as many black people. That's still not great. They still shouldn't do it, but it didn't really mean the same thing when they did it. So I'll give them like a 10% defense. Like, you know, all right, as long as you don't do it again, we can look the other way. Which I think they did stop eventually. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. Who knows? It's kind of like the do you guys know Black Pete? The fucking like European Christmas character. Zwarte Piet. Yeah, here we go. Here. Black Pete. Yeah, that. I mean, you can see it. You can see what the fuck it looks like. You know, that's not great, is it? Oh, okay, good. Okay, because like I've heard, yeah, Black Pete. So they did an Atlanta episode about Black Pete, among other things. And yeah, as it's pointing out here, that this version of Black Pete, or Zwarte Piet, became increasingly controversial. So they eventually revised it Sooty Piet. Yeah, see, this is what I was thinking they should do. Because obviously, I am, of course, knowledgeable on all things. I know everything, and I am the master of all fields. I'm definitely not an idiot with a webcam. So when I was reading about the Black Pete shit a few years ago, I said they could keep him around if they just changed what the makeup looks like. Like if they just, instead of doing full blackface, just took a handful and went. Because the whole reason he's supposed to be black is because he's covered in soot from being in the chimney with Santa, or like prepping it for Santa, or whatever the fuck the mythology is. And so I was like, well, if he's just supposed to be covered in soot, you could just do that and like cover only part of your face and it would still look like what it is. And so it looks like they started doing that. You know what? Good for them. I respect the people of that part of Europe to for modifying their tradition to not be horrifically fucking racist. I guess the earliest known book about him depicts him as a Moor. Yeah, Blackamoor, which let's not fucking. Okay. That's probably not a term we should use very often. Yeah, Holland, well, not now is pretty cool. They got some fucked up history like every other country, but you know, what are you going to do? There's only a limited extent to which I can blame them for that. Yeah, when I hear the term Moor, I always think of fucking Othello, because the subtitle of Othello is like the Moor of Venice or whatever. I heard it's a great place to vacation. Netanyahu, if you're reading this, you should visit. Yes, Prime Minister Netanyahu, you should visit New York City in approximately a few months. I'm not sure when the mayoral office changes. Let me find out. Station date 2026. Okay. So The New York mayoral election, the primary already happened. The general happens November 4th, and we know who's going to win. Unless something really fucking insane happens, we know it's going to be Mamdani. He has, I think, literally an 83% chance of winning, according to the stats. And so I think he takes office in like January. So anyway, sometime after January, Prime Minister Netanyahu, you should visit New York City. It's a beautiful place. You'd know you've spent quite a bit of time there because you have a fucking American accent because you're not actually from Israel. I think he is from Philadelphia, but still. He spent a lot of time in New York City. He should visit again. I think the people of New York City would be very happy to see him. Yeah, it's really funny that fucking that Cuomo lost really fucking badly and like openly doesn't want to be there, and yet he's still there. Oh, I didn't realize Jamal Bowman endorsed him. That's cool, I guess. Paperboy Prince. Okay, Paperboy Prince is like a musician activist. I'm assuming non-binary, given that Wikipedia is using they/them pronouns. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Whatever. I mentioned Holland because The Hague is there and the ICC. Yeah, I knew about the arrest warrant. I didn't know that. I thought you just meant Holland was one of the countries that agreed to arrest him. I forgot that The Hague was located there. I thought it was in France for some reason. I think I mixed up The Hague with the Louvre because they're both like museums of horrific shit throughout history. But yeah, I can't believe the ICC issued an arrest warrant for a man. When's the last time they fucking did that for someone who wasn't from Africa? I don't think ever. The ICC basically exists to take down like African warlords, which fair enough. Those guys are assholes, but it is like kind of fucked up that that we only go after one flavor of asshole, I guess. But hey, what he did was egregious. What he's doing, I should say, was and is egregious enough that the ICC had to intervene. So you know what? Fine. All right. Let's do it. Oh, I thought the Louvre had fucking artifacts in it. Am I just completely fucking dumb? I thought the Louvre had like pilfered artifacts. Or is that just the British Museum? Okay. I thought the Louvre was both kinds of museum. I'm completely dumb. Can you tell I haven't been there? Can you tell that I haven't been to the Louvre? Yeah, I must be thinking of the British Museum. I thought the Louvre had artifacts in it as well, but okay, I guess I'm wrong. Though my point still kind of works because a lot of that art depicts horrific shit throughout history. So I'm kind of, even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Now I'm just reading about Paperboy Prince. Interesting that a non binary person uses the term boy, like Paperboy, but I guess the term Paperboy is gender neutral enough. I forgot Cuomo was HUD secretary. That's nuts. I mean, he's a fucking huge piece of shit, so I've like done my best to not know much about him, but uh yeah, it's really funny how openly he doesn't want to be there. And like after he lost the primary, his initial answer was, "Nah, I'm not going to run an independent." And then presumably they like reminded him that they have photos of him on Epstein's Island or something because then he launched his independent campaign. But he like doesn't want to be there. He's using fucking AI for his campaign ads now. You guys probably saw that. Um, he is getting fucking dog walked in the polls by Mamdani. I Is he losing to Sliwa? I don't think he is. I think Sliwa's still behind him, but not by much. I wish we had a Bizarro New York that Sliwa could run. Maybe Pittsburgh. I don't know. Anyway, the ICC arrest warrant. Yeah, I knew that. is largely symbolic since neither Israel nor the U.S. are in their jurisdiction. Oh, yeah. Yeah, international jurisdictions are funny like that. Like, they kind of the way they work out sometimes doesn't work out. But yeah, even this, I mean, the symbolic gesture is only worth so much, but it is worth something, I guess. But hey, maybe Netanyahu will fucking visit New York City and, you know, maybe Mamdani's administration will comply with their orders. And that is all I will say for legal reasons. But it'd be really funny if they did. We could also get what happened to the thinly veiled version of him from Superman. Though I wouldn't advocate for that. That didn't exactly. Well, it was satisfying in the movie. In real life, it works a little differently. I'll say that much. I was talking about it earlier. I kind of got off track, but that Superman movie, like, I moved it up in my rankings for the year. It's so fucking good. I think. I think since the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, that it's the best superhero movie at depicting what comic books are like. Like, people kind of made fun of, like, oh, do we need that exposition in that scene? And it's like, well, yeah, you did. The American viewing public is really fucking stupid. You need to explain pretty much everything to them. But, like, there's the opening where he fights the Hammer of Baravia and he fucking gets his ass handed to him and he winds up in that crater. And Malik, the halal cart guy, he helps him out. And one of the bystanders just says, maybe you shouldn't have done that thing in Jar and Poor Superman. And it's like, yeah, is that like a little clunky? Sure. That's how comic books are. If you don't like that, then don't read fucking comic books and don't watch movies based on them. Like, I want with like Spider-Man, it's when fucking Goblin's about to kill Mary Jane and then that one extra goes, "It's Spider-Man." Like, yeah, she puts a little more energy into that delivery than she needs to, but like that's what a fucking comic book is like. They're colorful, they're fun, they're bombastic. And the Superman movie fucking understood that. It understood the assignment. In my opinion, it's the best one they've ever made. It I think it's better than the Christopher Reeve one, and that's not an insult to Christopher Reeve. I said to a friend when I was watching it that Christopher Reeve's performance finally being outdone is not a sad occasion. It's like when I don't know, hockey, let's say. It's like when there's a record in professional hockey that's gone unbroken for 30, 40, 50 fucking years and someone finally breaks it. It's not sad to the person whose record they finally broke. It's kind of like a celebration. Like, you celebrate the new person and you pay respects to who came before for their role in getting us to this point. That's how I felt when I saw David Corenswet be better as Superman than Christopher Reeve. I was like, I felt it was respectful to Christopher Reeve. Crazy how Batman and Superman's most recent live action outings are also their best ones. Fucking true. In fact, I'm with the merge people now. I think they should say fuck it and retroactively write the Batman into the universe of Superman. Why not? You'd have to do a little bit of finagling to make the continuity make sense. I can live with that. Fine. I I want to see Robert Pattinson interact with David Corenswet because the fucking insane tonal clash between them is the point. I want to see that shit. And in fact, while I'm here, I want to, before I go, because my throat's getting fucking tired from talking so much, and I kind of want to go watch fucking YouTube or whatever. Actually, no, I've got bonus features on the holdovers to watch. That's what I want to go do. Gallery. I took this picture of myself when I was watching Superman. Because you might not have noticed, but there's a scene in. You remember the scene in Superman when the Justice Gang first shows up, and there's that brief like newsposition guy who, like, as the newscaster, explains to the news viewers and therefore the movie's viewers who the Justice Gang are and where their funding comes from. So that actor is Will Reeve Christopher Reeve's son. He's a newscaster on ABC. He actually, like, one of the news shows my mom and grandma watch, he's like a regular on there. So when I saw him, I took this photo of me saluting him because we salute the son of Christopher Reeve. And can you tell I was not sober when I took this photo? Hang on, can I make this bigger? Yeah, there we go. Can you tell I was not sober when I took this? Because I wasn't, and that's why I enjoyed the movie so much. How do I get fucking back to where I was? Fuck you. That's not what I want. I'll just take that. All right. I am tired. Well, not tired. My throat's a little tired. And it's really hot in this room. I closed the windows for the noise, and I'm sweating my balls off. So I am going to go open them and refill my water and watch the holdover bonus features because fuck me, that movie's great. I'm sure the bonus features are too. Thank you everyone for joining. I'll be back to my regular Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 schedule now that I'm not sick anymore. I'll try to do some Halloween stuff. I'll get a fucking cosplay together for whatever stream happens closest to Halloween. Take care, everybody. Keep your buttholes tight, and I will see you in 2 nights, Thursday at 8. Take care, everyone.